Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Diana Emerson today. We're listening to Snake in the Grass.
On a February night, at the San Juan Capistrano, California home of Brad and Andra Sachs, evil comes calling.
Landon, what's going on? Is he shot? Call 911. I'm gonna go find mom and dad, okay? Mom! Mom! My little brother's been shot. Alexis!
Police are there within minutes.
EMTs are on the way. Stay with them.
I can't feel my legs.
Shots have been fired all over the house. Claiming the lives of Brad and Andra Sachs.
Yeah, I got a 187. Need additional units.
Their youngest son, Landon, has a bullet in his spine.
Who's this, your brother?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Landon.
Landon. Landon. Look at me. Look at me. Hang on. Yeah, I got this. Well, listen, he's gonna need your help too, okay? Hey girls, just gonna ask you a few questions. Okay? Did you see the shooter?
No. No.
Is there anything at all that you remember that you can tell us?
Alexis says the shooter fired at her as he passed by her bedroom.
Really fast.
There was one shot fired in the room for the 17-year-old daughter. Then you had the 15-year-old sister. She was not shot at. They were sound asleep at the time.
This wealthy neighborhood is a stranger to murder. And the lavish Sachs residence seems like the last place a killer would come calling.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Landon. Give me 50.
Okay.
Get down from there. Do not end your special day in the hospital.
Landon, buddy, come over here. I got something for you.
Brad and Andra have 5 kids, 21-year-old Miles and 19-year-old Ashton, who both attend college in the Seattle area. Then there's Alexis, Lana, and their youngest son, Landon.
Cool dad thing.
Give me a hug.
Andra and Brad had a great marriage, and they loved their children.
The couple met at a business convention more than 20 years ago, where Brad fell in love with Andra's winning smile and fierce determination.
She set her sights on being a millionaire from age 5. She said, I'm going to make a lot of money.
And she decided the best way to do that was through real estate.
Her mainstay was buying properties, distressed properties, and turning them.
She was a go-getter, type A, get things done kind of person. I mean, she built her own real estate empire.
Her husband was just as ambitious, despite his laid-back attitude.
Brad was a nice guy. Smiling, easygoing, curly hair, surfer guy. Surfing was his main sport.
While Andra focused on real estate, Brad took advantage of the tech boom.
Brad made most of their money from internet service provider back in the 90s.
While their businesses thrived and their personal fortunes soared, what mattered most to these two was their family. And now, that family has been blown apart forever.
I'm going to have Officer Settle here take you to go talk to a social worker now, okay? Okay, girls, thank you very much.
A lot of firepower in here.
Both parents had multiple gunshot wounds.
Shell casings.
The shell casings on the floor and on the bed.
The mother was shot 8 times. The father was shot 7 times. Go check the rest of the house.
24 casings are scattered throughout the house. The CSI team works through the night, and come morning, detectives try to make sense of their findings.
No forced entry. At least the front door. What do you got?
Unfortunately, no fingerprints, no DNA, no weapons.
Signs of a struggle.
No, never had a chance. Shot in their sleep.
Lexi said they always leave their doors and windows unlocked.
Thank you.
That could mean that it was somebody who they knew. It could also mean that, an intruder went there and tried the door and saw it was open.
Meaning the suspect could be anyone. In the morning, investigators break the terrible news to elder brothers Miles and Ashton, who live near each other in the Seattle area.
Hello?
Ashton Sachs, this is Detective Sanchez.
This is about your parents. Unfortunately, I hate to tell you this, but they were found dead in their home.
How?
Very sorry, Mr. Sachs. It appears they were killed.
What about my sisters and brother? Are they okay?
I can tell you more when you get here. Again.
Very sorry.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk to Miles. We'll be on the next flight down.
The sense of urgency would be overwhelming to get back down, to see and attend to the siblings.
Less than 24 hours after the shots rang out, detectives uncover a possible new lead.
We got this. Surveillance footage.
The investigators went around the neighborhood and canvassed the area for security cameras, and they were able to find one security camera with a car that was in the image, but they weren't sure at this point if the car fit into the murder at all.
Not sure if the timestamp's accurate, but this happened right after the murder.
Think you can get the license?
Let me punch in and see if I can capture the screen.
It looks like a newer model hybrid. Unfortunately, they can't read the license plate. But a closer look at the Sachs business empire will suggest that the cost of success can be deadly. In the hours after the Sachs family shooting, 8-year-old Landon has pulled through surgery to repair the bullet wound in his spine. But they're still waiting to find out whether he has been permanently paralyzed from the waist down. By now, his older brothers Miles and Ashton have raced back to California from college in Washington State.
I ain't seen you. We're all here with you. We're gonna catch this guy. I promise you.
Later that day, detectives get word from the medical examiner's office.
The Sachs autopsies?
Yeah, not that scary either.
Regarding the autopsy of the two victims, we were doing examinations of potential DNA, potential fingerprints, but there was nothing, there was no smoking gun type of evidence that came out of the autopsy results.
So only these are shell casings.
Yeah, and they were all fired from the same weapon.
So that is a big indication that it was a single person, at least firing.
And the weapon was probably some sort of assault rifle.
Okay. Thank you.
While investigators are still puzzling over the possible suspects, news of the double murder spreads to friends and family.
I was awakened by the phone. It was about 5 a.m. My cousin, she was in hysterics, telling me Andrew'd been murdered. I didn't believe her. I thought, it's a joke. And she said Brad had been shot too.
I just kind of like felt weak in the knees, like, what? Are you kidding me? There's no way.
Without any obvious leads from the crime scene, investigators hope Brad and Andrew's family can help jumpstart the case.
I'll show you one too. Move this one. Yeah, the kid is kind of lamp. Yeah, guys. Sorry to interrupt. How you doing, Landon?
Okay.
You guys mind if we borrow you for a moment? They'll be right back. Any updates? Not yet. We need some information. About what? When you first heard about it, who's the first person that came to mind? Well, we don't know anything about that. It's okay. We want to know who you think would do something like this.
According to the brothers, their mom could be a hard-nose when it came to the couple's real estate business.
Brad and Andre had various rentals down in San Diego area, apartment complexes, homes for rent.
And a quick look online shows the renters of their residential properties were no fans of Andra Sachs.
It's the beauty of the internet. People post stuff online, people report that, this person ripped me off. That raises a red flag for us.
The loudest critics were a married military couple, Tony and Amy Polanco, newly stationed in California and forced to rent sight unseen. They became so enraged by the condition of the unit, as well as the consistent lack of response from Andra Sachs, they started documenting the neglect.
Okay, security door is missing the bottom mesh panels. This railing is very loose. Windows are filthy, the landscaping way overgrown.
Tony Polanco then left inflammatory online reviews, calling Andra names and warning prospective tenants against ever renting from the Sachs.
Gentlemen, can I help you?
Detective Sanchez, this is Detective Lee. We'd like to talk to you.
Yeah, come in. We have some questions about Andra Sachs.
Are you investigating my complaint?
Which complaint?
My complaint about Andra Sachs.
Tony, don't. Especially in front of the detectives.
She won't fix my air conditioner no matter how many times I've asked her. It's not working, don't you understand? Do you feel how hot this is? I believe it's 6-month-old.
The AC is not our responsibility. You're going to have to fix it yourself or replace it.
Fixing this is your responsibility. See you in court, lady.
In total, the Polancos would rack up over $7,000 in court judgments over the Sachs, but Andra refused to give them a dime.
Were you the one who wrote these online reviews on the Sachs?
Probably. I mean, I'm trying to ruin her life now that she's ruining ours.
Did you know that Andra and Brad Sachs were murdered last week?
Can't say it's a loss. They had it coming.
Anytime you have a crime that involves a firearm, plus a person who has military experience, and that person is also in contentious litigation with your victim, that's a no-brainer for putting them on a suspect list.
Tony Polanco has been at war with Andra Sachs for nearly a year. Detectives have good reason to believe they're looking into the eyes of their killer.
Where were you the night of February 9th?
It wasn't us, detectives. We were out of town.
Well, we appreciate your time.
Police will have to check out his alibi, but in the meantime, Polanco's name is placed at the top of the growing list of angry tenants that have an axe to grind.
Okay, the Saxons weren't landlords of the year. You might have to question all their other tenants.
And it will take hundreds of man-hours to follow up with them all.
In your dealings with Andra and Brad Sachs, you ever have any problems?
Where were you on the night of February the 9th?
Yeah, no, I appreciate your time. I'll be in touch.
Unfortunately, in this case, you're not focusing on one or two or three people. We were focusing on hundreds.
Although there's hundreds to clear, they drill deeper into the angriest one, Tony Polanco.
Got it. Take a look at this.
And what they find out intrigues them.
Wow.
Several weeks after the double murder of Brad and Andra Sachs, detectives have cleared dozens of unhappy tenants from a long list of potential suspects, except for one, Andra's most disgruntled renter, Tony Polanco.
They asked me questions about my background, and they found out that I had just come back from Afghanistan from a year out there. They was trying to see if I was in any firefights, if I had been injured, if there was any PTSD going on with me. From what I understand, I was one of the prime suspects. From what they knew and how I was actually feeling, it wasn't too far off. However, at the time of the murders, I was across the country. When I heard the Sachs got murdered, I was like, wow, someone beat me to it.
You had it coming.
I may sound crass or insensitive, but that's how upset I was that she would put my family in the kind of situation that she did.
After weeks of intense scrutiny, detectives received confirmation from the military that Polanco was on the East Coast at the time of the murders, clearing him as a prime suspect.
I knew she had plenty of people who probably wanted to murder her, but I was really dumbfounded. I just couldn't believe somebody actually did it. It's really sad that the children of the Sachs have to live this life after the murders.
But with a killer still at large, it's hard to find much peace. And after sifting through the long list of disgruntled residential tenants, that avenue turns out to be a dead end. But they find a new thread to follow.
In addition to having residential properties, they were also making the transition to commercial properties.
And once again, Andra left no shortage of angry clients in her wake.
How's it going?
Okay. Hey. One of our tenants is late on his rent again. We're gonna have to evict him.
Is it Marco? Give him a few extra days. He's always good for it.
No, he's been delinquent 4 times this year already.
Look, he's a good guy. He just doesn't sell much.
Nope. I'm already printing his eviction notice.
She had a strong personality. She had to be in control. She was very dominating, but she had a loving, compassionate side to her.
Okay, I'll go easy on him.
Thank you.
While she's occasionally lenient with some of their clients, not everyone is so lucky.
Mrs. Sachs.
Andra had a knack for instilling fear in clients.
When it came to doing business, she was an individual who wanted her way, and when things were not done her way, she became angry and she reacted accordingly.
Well, we're not going to have the money for you today.
She also knew just what buttons to push to get the results she wanted.
I know you've been here a long time.
Andra seemed to be the one who made things happen. She was kind of the enforcer, and that was kind of her role.
We have the money by the end of the week, or we padlock the store and we seize your inventory.
No shortage of suspects here.
check this out.
Turns out, Andra has had many conflicts with their commercial tenants over the years and has a long list of enemies.
There's several people that could have wanted them dead.
There's a lot of animosity between the Sacks and a lot of people that they've done business with. So there was some thought that the killer could be somebody amongst those people.
Hello, this is Detective Lee from the Orange County Sheriff's Office.
In your dealings with Andra and Brad Sachs, do you ever have any problems?
Police interviewed me right away. They asked me what kind of relationship did I have. We had heated arguments. Were there any threats? As tenants, we had a few challenges here and there.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times.
But she was kind of the enforcer. And as landlords, you know, they knew how to run business and get a hold of their money and keep it.
No, that sounds great. I really appreciate your time. Thank you. Okay.
They have a history of lawsuits. They've been sued. They filed lawsuits themselves.
Well, I appreciate your time, and I'll be in touch.
Commercial real estate may have been her prime focus, but it was another interest that brought Andra's biggest dispute in 1999. Investors in Flashcom, an internet service provider she and Brad had acquired the year before in a multi-million-dollar deal, had issues with her management and wanted her out. To complicate matters, one of the investors who voted her out was her own husband, Brad.
There was a lot of pressure on Brad to make a decision. Was it the business or his wife?
Ultimately, he chose the business.
Do you have to stand there the whole time?
It cost the shareholders $9 million to buy Andra out.
I helped build this company.
While there's no doubt getting $9 million is a great payday, the fact that it was her husband that ousted her had to weigh heavily on Andra's mind.
Hey, babe.
I know it was very upsetting to Andrew, and the two of them just started drifting apart. They couldn't talk about it.
You need some help?
As a result of that, Andra and Brad's relationship ended.
They separated and divorced, and neither one wanted to part with their children. So, a lot of custody fighting.
I appreciate your time.
While detectives are still trying to make sense of the victim's professional and personal relationship.
How's your brother?
He's out of surgery, at least.
Okay. So have a seat.
Their sons come forward with a new person of interest, much closer to home.
There could be someone in our dad's past.
Detectives in the Brad and Andra Sachs murder investigation have found plenty of trouble lurking in the couple's business history, but they still haven't locked on a suspect when sons Miles and Ashton come forward with a new name.
When Andra and Brad divorced, Brad found other interests. I think he spent a lot of time on the golf course.
Hey.
Hey, honey.
Within a few months after their divorce, Brad was regularly spotted at the country club with new girlfriend, Gina Rogers.
How was golf?
Good morning. And then afterwards, I put a down payment on the boat.
Oh, I've always wanted to sail up the coast.
Catalina.
Oh,
For your birthday.
that's so sweet.
Of course. Anything you want. I'm gonna teach you how to fish.
Can you really see me doing that?
Brad?
Are you serious? That didn't take you long to move on, did it? Andra, come on. No one asked you to talk.
We split up, remember?
It didn't have to be this way. Look, you're the one who called it quits. I hope you two are happy.
After a few months together, Gina was convinced she was better for Brad than his ex-wife.
I'll be back in a second.
But Andra was having second thoughts, and so was Brad.
Brad, come on. Don't go after her.
Brad realizes that he wants his family back. He wants Andra back. He wants to be a part of her life. He wants to be a part of the kid's life.
Just a year after they divorced, Brad and Andra get back together and work things out. It's a stinging rejection for Gina, who was already making plans for their future.
Like any woman who's given her heart to another man, Gina would have been crushed that Brad was leaving her virtually overnight.
Could she also have been furious enough to kill. While investigators work to track down the spurned ex-lover, the rest of the Sachs children prepare themselves to lay their parents to rest, while their brother, Landon, is still recovering in the hospital.
I can't think straight. You can't even tie this tie. I got you. I'm sorry, man. So, listen to me.
You take a tragedy like this, how do you move on? How do you live your life from that? I don't know.
Let's do this. Mom and Dad.
The kids were going through sheer terror to lose mother, father, be shot at yourself, and not knowing who did it.
More than a week after the murders, friends and family gather to pay their final respects to Brad and Andra.
Hello everybody, I am Miles. I am manager of Brad's oldest son, and they frequently call me their number one, and they know I felt the same way about them too. There was no one else there who would be there for me, who would make me as happy as they could. From here on out, everything I'll do for you, Brad. Yeah. You're messing up with us in physical form. I really do believe that both their energy is alive. Strong as ever. And they are both with us. And they were waiting with us.
Knowing they need to narrow the suspect pool, investigators focus on the Sachs net worth, almost $100 million.
Investigators were under the assumption that Andra's sister was the trustee of the estate.
Take a look at this.
But soon learned that Andra had changed the trustee shortly before the murders.
Wow.
Anytime investigators see a change in trustee so close to a murder date, makes them automatically think it's a murder for financial gain.
The new trustee is the couple's close friend, Wendy Schwartz, who has now become a possible suspect in the Sachs double homicide.
Wendy was Andra's best friend growing up. They met in early junior high.
She was given financial control, meaning as the trustee, she was going to make about $1 million a year. Miles, on the other hand, was given control over the business worth in excess of $80 million.
And if that's not enough to build suspicion, Wendy was living in Washington State near the Sachs' sons, Miles and Ashton, before the murders.
They were automatically put into the suspect pool.
If these three masterminded the murder plot, did they also hurt little Landon and try to shoot 17-year-old Alexis to keep more of the money for themselves?
Made you a sandwich?
There's a heartbreaking component of this case. The impact of the crime on the 8-year-old innocent victim.
Landon may be out of the woods, but he'll never be the same. The family has learned his paralysis is permanent.
Okay, I called in some favors. Mom and Dad wouldn't like it because it'll rot your teeth, but...
Maybe later.
Okay.
I feel we've already had enough death, and now another tragedy. And I'm very saddened by the whole situation.
Are you guys going back to Seattle?
Not anytime soon, though. We're going to stay here, look after you.
I'll take a piece of that candy now.
Oh, you take a piece of the candy now. Okay.
Ashton was right there for the court proceedings for guardianship. He was trying to step forward with Miles and get guardianship of the younger ones and really take charge of the family.
1 second, man.
Wendy, Miles, and Ashton are trying to pick up the pieces where Brad and Andra Sachs left off. But the change in trustee still gnaws at investigators.
Hello, Mr. Sachs. We're hoping we could come in and ask you and your brother a few questions. Yeah, come on. Thank you. We're just in the kitchen in here. You guys know Ashton? And this is Wendy, her parents' insurance. Hello.
Hi.
Where we're trying to figure out what was the relationship between these three people at the time of the shooting. The two sons are in Seattle. We don't know where she was.
And investigators won't be getting that answer anytime soon, despite their appearance of cooperation.
We just have a few more questions. I ask you guys to sit down, but we're just about to sign documents.
Yeah, the notary public's gonna be here anytime.
Maybe we could just do this another time.
Sure. We'll come back tomorrow. That's fine. All right. We'll see ourselves out.
Even if these three are stonewalling detectives until their big payday, their secrets won't stay that way for long.
Detectives look at phone records to start trying to match up dates and phone calls and that kind of thing, and they did that with the family members.
I got this one number. It keeps popping up. It might be worth looking into.
Hello, this is Detective Lee from the Orange County Sheriff's Office. What does your company do?
It's a company that's in the business of transporting cars from one location to the other.
Do you have anything on the books for the last name Sachs? S-A-C-H-S? Really? Thank you. One of the brothers was shipping a car to Seattle.
That was an eye-opener. That was the turning point that made us realize that this thing's going to get really narrow really quickly.
The caller was one of the Sachs' sons, and when detectives triangulate where his call was made from, they are floored.
Initially, we were working on the assumption that the two sons are in Seattle, but the phone is not in Seattle.
That's it right there. One of their cell phones pinged off this tower around the same time as the murder. Which was here, less than a mile away from the Sachs home.
He is using that phone, calling a yellow cab company, talking to a taxi driver to drive him to John Wayne Airport.
Now we're going, wait a second.
Why is the phone ringing a block away from the murder scene? That now gives us concern.
It looks like the shooter was dead set on getting out of town as soon as possible after the crime.
That leads them to go to the John Wayne Airport in Orange County.
All right, let's see what we got.
Detectives know if someone passed through that airport in the hours after the murder, they were definitely caught on camera.
Think of it that you're in the dark and you cannot see anything. And then you start seeing some light. You can't make out much. Rewind that. You're focusing on that light. Now the picture of who committed this crime is becoming as clear as the sun. Oh my God.
Airport video surveillance in Orange County, California.
Rewind that. Okay, stop.
Reveals that one of Brad and Andra Sachs' sons has been lying to everybody.
Oh my God. Ashton Sachs. Let's get a screen grab of this. We start getting pieces of the puzzle. I'm not talking about small pieces. I'm talking about huge pieces. He buys a ticket to fly back to Seattle. He is on that plane flying from John Wayne Airport to Seattle at 8 o'clock in the morning.
He arrives back home in time to take the call from the police, telling him his parents were dead.
Hello? Ashton Sachs. There was phone records that made us realize, oh my God, how? That most likely the 19-year-old son was involved in preparation for this crime and the carrying out of this crime. Okay, thanks.
Police have enough to bring in Ashton Sachs on probable cause, but there's one loose end to take care of first.
Yeah, hey, I needed to arrange for my car to be shipped back to Seattle.
He makes arrangements for a shipping company to pick up his car. And by the way, that's a car that his mom bought for him. But we contact the owner of the company. And the guy says, oh, yeah, we're supposed to ship the car and he was supposed to come pick it up.
But lucky for police, the car is still awaiting shipment in Orange County.
There it is. We get a search warrant for the car.
Detectives inspect every inch of the vehicle.
Oh, she popped the trunk.
Hey, Lee? Bingo.
We found the rifle that he used to cowardly murder his mom and dad while they were asleep.
Ashton Sachs has some serious explaining to do.
We've asked you this before. Who would want to kill your parents?
I don't know. He started with the lies, and you can tell initially his hope is, hey, I lied before and they bought it, I'm gonna lie again.
He tries to point the finger at their business associates.
And it was one of them.
Ashton was putting on an act that he could not sustain.
Are you aware that we have copies of your phone records?
What do you mean? This shows that you made a call very near your parents' house.
The night of the murder. You can tell there was a change in his demeanor.
I was in Seattle. I told you that.
We had surveillance footage of you at the airport. We know about you sending your car back to Seattle.
We know you're lying to us.
I did it.
You did what?
I shot it.
I shot all of them.
Why'd you do it? Money?
No.
Turns out, the second brother has been carrying a bitter grudge for months.
Miles, I need to talk to your brother. Alone.
Ashton felt banished by his mother, all because of a girl.
What's up?
That girl is 10 years older than you.
His girlfriend was quite a bit older, and Andrew was not happy about.
I told you to stay out of my business.
It is time for you to grow up. You're going to school in Seattle.
What are you? You can't do this.
Sweetheart, I'm doing it because I love you.
No, if you love me, you wouldn't. It's unbelievable.
Ashton, wait.
His parents, especially his mother, did not approve of the relationship to the extent that Ashton felt his mom should approve of the relationship.
They chose Seattle so Ashton could be near his older brother, Miles, but Ashton never adjusted. His life slowly spiraled downhill, and he even tried to commit suicide just over a month before the murder.
It was more of a cry for attention and for help than the kind of attempted suicide that you look at and say, oh, this person really tried to kill themselves.
But Ashton says his parents were tone deaf to his cries for help.
Water?
In a recorded confession, Ashton explains what happened the night he killed his parents.
I haven't slept in 4 or 5 days. Just trying to shrink down. I didn't even really stop to go to the bathroom on time to kind of say pee in the car. I'm doing and I drove upstairs to the house. I didn't even know what was going through my head. Silent. I walked around for probably 10, 15 minutes. He looks in a rush. When my parents went first, my heart was beating really fast.
reasons he never explains, he unleashed his rage on two of his younger siblings before fleeing the scene to catch the first flight back to Seattle.
Ashton Sachs, you're under arrest for the murder of Brad and Andrew Sachs and the attempted murder of your siblings. On your feet.
In 2016, Ashton Sachs goes to trial and throws the dice.
What was really surprising in the court case was he insisted on representing himself. He actually fired his lawyer and went through the whole court motion to be his own lawyer and actually proceeded on that.
The gamble doesn't pay off, and Ashton is found guilty.
He got life in prison plus extra time for using a weapon. I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed he's never going to get out.
Neither his brother Miles nor the family trustee Wendy had any role in the crime. Those who knew Ashton will never understand how a mild-mannered kid could grow into a cold-blooded murderer.
I remember Ashton as this charming, loving, happy little boy who gave me a lot of love, and he soaked up love like a sponge. Brad loved his kids very much. He loved all his children. Always charming, smiling.
My whole life, I always thought I have pretty awesome parents, and I don't know how to sum up how or why they were so amazing and just perfect parents. And then everything they did was always